Sarahi Espinoza Salamanca has created an app, and she's the founder and CEO of a startup. An app and a startup in Silicon Valley, so what else is new? For one thing, her startup, Dreamers Roadmap, is a nonprofit. It offers a free national mobile app that helps undocumented students find scholarships to go to college. And it appears to have no real competitors in the marketplace. And the market is enormous. Of the 65,000 undocumented students who graduate from high school annually, only 5 to 10% go to college. It's not for lack of ability or qualifications, but for lack of money. Almost a third of undocumented children live below the poverty line and can't afford college. Most of them are simply unaware that financial aid is available and that they can go to college. But most notably, Dreamers Roadmap springs from Sarahi's own personal and painful experience as an undocumented Mexican immigrant.
I grew up thinking I was an American kid. All my life, I knew that I was an immigrant, right? Because we talked about it, but never in my mind did I think that I was an undocumented immigrant. So when I was 16 years old, my parents decided to self-deport. A sister of mine got referred or kind of advised that if they left the country, it would be faster for them to come back into the country as legal residents. So they made that decision, and they invited me to come with them, but I told them that I didn't want to leave because I was in high school. I was in the middle of my educational career in high school, and I couldn't even imagine being away for 6 months, which was what's supposed to be the time that they were supposed to leave.
But the advice they received turned out to be wrong. Her parents were not allowed to return to the United States.
Not long after my parents left, I found out that I was not only an immigrant in this country, but I was an undocumented immigrant. And that came about when I started to apply for financial aid. And I received a notice that I had to fill out my Social Security part. When I went to my counselor and told her that I didn't have that number, she told me that people like me couldn't go to college because I was undocumented. I felt that I was the only person in this country that was undocumented that was trying to go to college because nobody was talking about it back in 2008. I thought I was the only one. When I found out that I was undocumented, I was still trying to put the pieces together of what that even meant, right? So one of them was I can't go to college, then was I can't work, or it's very hard for me to find a job because I don't have authority to work. And then just other than that, it was like, well, who am I? What can I do as an undocumented immigrant in this country? So there was a lot of, I guess, puzzling for me, putting it together, like, who am I, what can I do, and who can I trust? So after graduating from high school with honors and not being able to have a clear path into college, there was a lady from my church, out of all places, that reached out to me. She knew me since I was very young, since we got here from Mexico. So she asked me where I was going to go to college. And I told her, you know what, hey, I'm not going to go to college. Please stop asking me. It's really hurtful for you to ask me. And the reason is because I'm undocumented and I can't go and I can't afford it. And that's when she told me that her son was a counselor at Tianza and he would help undocumented students like me go to college all the time. So she told me that there was in-state tuition for undocumented students like myself, figured that out, and was able to put myself into college in 2008, that same year that I graduated. Not long after I started community college, my father got diagnosed with cancer back in Mexico, and expenses started to get very high. So I decided to drop out to work full-time to send the money for the expenses back in Mexico. Not long after that, he passed away. So when my dad passed away, I told my mom that I was going back to Mexico. I'm like, that's it. The whole reason why I was trying to get an education was to give you guys a better life. If my dad has passed away and now I don't want you to go through this alone. Again, she told me to stay. She's like, you did everything that you could when he was here. We appreciate your support. Not long after that is when DACA passed, which gave me the opportunity to apply for a work permit and to be in this country legally for 2 years. I said I wanted to go back to school. But when I went back to school, I wasn't gonna shy myself from my fullest potential, if you will. And I was gonna do everything in my power to help other students, one, know that they could go to school in the situation that I was in, and two, remind them and let them know that they do belong in this country. It started with this blog and me putting local scholarships onto this blog, letting other people know these are the scholarships that got me in and they can help you. I hope they can, and here they are. And yeah, in 2014, the competition opened up, Voto Latino Innovators Challenge, and it was asking anybody in the country to solve a problem using technology to solve it. So I pitched my idea and I made it to the top 6 in the country. And I went to DC, pitched it in front of the judges. Mind you, with no tech experience of coding or anything, I did my demo on Word using shapes. Just grabbed a phone from Google, put little shapes on top of it. And I said, this is what the app would look like. It would serve all of this population. I went through this a couple years ago. Thousands of students are going through it today still, and no one is doing anything about it. And I have the solution, and I want you to support me to fix it. So I won first place in the country, and I came home with $100,000 to be able to launch my app. So what we do and makes us different from everybody else is that we do it based on state, educational level, and whether you have DACA or not, which makes it a lot easier. So we have filters on our app. When you download it, you answer those 3 questions, and then it tells you out of those 3 questions that you answered, these are the scholarships that you qualify for, which makes it a lot easier for the student, saves them a lot of time. And not so long ago, we already started hearing of stories of people who graduated from college, being the first in their family because of the funding that they found on Dreamers Roadmap. And that just fills my heart with pure joy. On July 2015, I finally became a green card holder. So not long after that, I was already very pregnant also. That's another big thing that happened in 2015. I was pregnant with my first child. I got my green card in July. And in October of 2015, I traveled to Mexico for the very first time after immigrating to this country over 20-something years and not being able to see my mom for over 10 years. We finally reunited in Tijuana, Mexico.